Hello everyone, this is Power X24. So today I'm going to be doing two ceiling fans, two KDK ceiling fans. So in one, I'm going to be swapping out the motor because it's going slow even when I put a new capacitor in. So I think the easiest thing to do would be to swap the motor. And in the other one, I just need to test it. So we're going to start with this one. So this one is an older one from possibly the 70s. Oh, you can hear how it sounds here. Those bearings need to be changed. I wonder if that could be why it's going slow though. Anyways, yeah, that's this one. This is a new capacitor. It's about the same reading as the old one. It's still turning very slowly. So here's the donor fan. This one's an IndusCom from May 2020. And the bearings on this are much better. It's basically the same motor, so should be simple. Here's what the bottom looks like. So yeah, I think it's okay to use a fan that's still made as a donor to fix a vintage one. This is still made, this is not. Oh, if you're wondering, the model of this fan is HSC11056060-19. This one, I don't know. The sticker is gone. There it is. Oh, there's actually stuff stuck on the inside. Looks like the plastic broke. There's a little bit of dust in there too. Anyway, now that that's apart, we need to take apart the KDK one. This one is far heavier. And I really think the bearings could be a part of why this is so slow. But I don't have the time to check that right now, so let's just take this thing apart and swap the motor. Okay, that's pretty tight. I don't know why I made that so tight. Here's the down rod. I'm going to be using the shorter one to test this because if I use that long one, the blades are going to hit the wall. This is the shorter one I'm going to use. Anyways, let's just take this all the way apart. Okay. Well, there's the top cover. They don't even make the covers like this anymore. This is so old. Look. The modern KDKs have one that looks like this. The older ones look like this. I'm not sure why they redesigned it, but that's interesting. And here's our older motor. This motor is old and rusty. I'm going to keep it because I think it can be fixed, but I want the KDK fan, and I don't know exactly what to do about this thing. It is extremely rusty. And even the part which I painted over back in February of 2022, even that part is starting to rust over. I probably should have used a primer. Okay, here's the inside of the motor housing. There's some probably rust flakes. This still looks okay. I think I can clean this up. Here's our new motor. It's a very similar design, but the old motor is a little different. Like, I can't really describe it, but there's a slight difference. Like, the molding of the casing is different, but it should be the same thing. It's gonna fit, no problem. Yep, it fits fine. The plastic on this is much more flexible than the plastic on the newer ones, which is ironic. You'd think the older one would have the more rigid plastic. It's not going to be the same, but I think this will be good enough to get this back in service. Besides, there's barely any difference between these motors and the KDK motors anyways. Alright, let's get our down rod on. Well, no project is free of problems. This bolt is too big to fit in this down rod. Okay then. That's obviously not good. So, I'm going to take the one off of this fan down here. I think I'll just cut the clip here because it's going to get too complicated now. I'm going to have to have like, what, 3 of the same fan? Whatever. Here it is. I'm just going to grab the down rod from this one and use it. Yeah, this was another IndusCom fan, just like the one I took the parts from. Okay, sorry about that. The down rod I was trying to use, the hole was too small, so I taken off this one for another fan. I'm going to use it. Oh, there's some concerning nicks in this wire. Yeah. I should be able to get away with it for the test, but not good. Okay, I might have to change out that wire. Alright, well, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Can't be using risky things like that. It's not worth the risk. Alright, I just grabbed the wire from the KDK motor. This is going to take a little longer than I thought. Okay, fresh wire. Put the terminal block back on. Wait, how do you use it? Yeah. I always find these terminal blocks coming off because they just sit on like a spike. They don't really fasten in place. You know what I like about short down rods? Getting the wires through is very easy. Not like that with the longer ones. That should be that taken care of. Let me just... There we go. Alright. This canopy, I'm going to swap it out for the KDK branded one. I don't have another KDK branded one. Okay, let's just put this unlabeled one on. Wow, that is hard to put on. Okay, well I think that's done. I'm going to have to put the blades on this so we can test it. For blades, I obviously don't have all the blades for these, and the ones that I do have are very rusty. So I'm just going to borrow some rusty blades, put them on here for testing. If this was a permanent installation, I would not recommend using rusty blades because they look awful, they hinder the performance of the fan, and they look awful. So, I got these ones which aren't rusty, but the third one is kind of stuck on another fan because of a strip screw. Yeah, this is totally stripped out, so I can't get it off. I have a ridiculous amount of these fans. Every second in a video, I'm just pulling out another one and another one. I have so many of them. This one is a windy. I tried testing this in the last video. Ooh, I'm gonna need a socket to take that off. Not worth it. Look, when I said rusty, I wasn't kidding. These look terrible. I wish I had like a sandblaster. That'd make this much easier to fix up, but I think for the test, these filthy blades will be fine. They're so bad. These aren't even, I think these are some sort of third-party replacement fan blades. Because if you look at this, either that or KDK had a very different design back then, because you look at your typical modern KDK fan blade, the ones from like the 2000s look like this, but then this one looks like that. I don't know. Same thing, the rivets look slightly different on the both of them. The blade shape is also a little different. So, if someone who knows a bit more about these things could tell me what that's about, I'd appreciate it. Because I'm thinking that this could be a third-party replacement blade set or something. I've never seen these kind of blades on a KDK before. But most of the ones I come across are not that old. Oh, would you look at that? That doesn't fit. Alright. Yeah, I can't even use these because one of them is okay then. I really don't want to have to go get the socket set to take off that other blade. Because the screw holes on these are too small. I didn't expect that. Alright, here it is. What? I'm pretty sure this is the right size. Yeah. I'm throwing this away. Alright, I got the quote-unquote new blade set. Okay, now that the painful part is over, I'm going to hook this into the ceiling, and I'll just show you guys once that's there, and we can demo this, see if it performs as it should. Okay, you guys, so I forgot to put in the bolt that holds the down rod. I don't know what's going on with me today. That is stupid. Better late than never, because if I hooked this up, it would have fallen down. It's crazy. How could I forget that? I've been doing this for like 8 years now. I hope that blade didn't bend too bad when I dropped it. Almost dropped it. Okay, that should be that situation taken care of. I know that nut isn't on all the way, but I'm testing. It's fine. It's not going to cause any problems. This thing's going to run for like a few seconds, and then it's going to be taken back down, so. Alright, there you go. Alright, so I've installed the fan. This time I actually put on the bolt. I mounted it directly to the platform instead of up there, because last time it hit the wall. This thing is so low to the ground that I'm going to have to go outside to test it. So I'll just turn it on, I guess. Hopefully it doesn't blow up. Okay. I'm going to stand back. Alright, there you go. That's more like it. Let's go to 4. It's not moving the most air because, well, the blades kind of got screwed up when it fell. It's fine. It's really kicking up some breeze, though. Specifically on the edges, you can feel the air. It's on speed 4. I'm dangerously close to this thing, but I have to be. I need to get that wiring up there fixed up. It doesn't look very nice. Speed 2. I'm very sorry if I can't get the whole thing in frame. It's just a kind of big fan, 56-inch in this tiny room. Alright, that's speed 2. Speed 1. You can see that badge. I printed that in 2022 and it's still there. Okay, let's go to off. It's a little wobbly, and okay, when it fell out my hand during that incident without the bolt, I kind of grabbed it by the blade, so the blade flexed because these blades are made like tinfoil. It's the modern blades. So it's a little off balance, but nothing serious. Still moving a little bit of air. That downrod looks awful. The only thing I'm going to use that downrod for is testing fans in here, because when it comes to industrial fans, they're a little bit big for in here, so this downrod makes it it's the only thing that makes it possible. A long downrod like on that is going to hang way too low, and I can't even be in here while it's running, so... Yeah, that's a long spin down. I'm sure the original motor wouldn't last half this long because of its bearings. Very long. I think this beats the Hunter Builders Plus in my room upstairs. You can see that bent blade. When these things get bent, they're so hard to straighten. I tried straightening it off camera, but it was a silly mistake, and it's totally fine because I gotta find some source to get new blades for these things, because sometimes you just have to replace the blades when they're rusted to a certain degree. And that's it. That took a while. Yeah. Here's a look at it assembled. Got my sticker. You can see the thing up there for the wiring. It's on a Hunter original mounting bracket. There's the top. That's the safety hazard. I think it's fine for testing though. It won't affect anything. Yeah, I guess now we have to work on that second KDK down there. And I'm worried about that one being slow. If that one is slow, then it's just slow. I'm not going to be fixing that today. I might have to put a new motor in that one as well. Another look at the old motor down there. Alright, well, I'm going to take this down, dismantle it, and then we're going to take a look at that other KDK. Alright, now that other fan's out the way, let's work on that other KDK, which I'm pretty sure has the same speed problem. There's no reason it shouldn't have the same problem. I mean, this one here, the casing, I put it on something at some point, and it got messed up. So this is going to need a touch-up on the paint. This one's got the KDK branding on the canopy. I printed that to get this thing. Wow, Scotch tape. Exactly what you want to see in something like this. I'm kidding. So it looks like for this one, I Scotch taped it together. Probably because the original bracket was either missing or... Ooh. Alright, that looks like the original cap. That's a 7.2 UF microfarad capacitor. This looks like the original terminal block as well. This is probably going to be extremely slow based off of that alone, but we won't be able to tell until I test it, so... This down rod is way too long. This needs to come off. And, oh, the bolt on this one comes off with ease. That terminal block is tiny, and I don't want to deal with it. I didn't bring any Scotch tape with me, so I'm going to have to kind of get creative with how to mount the capacitor on this one. It doesn't have the same shaft as the IndusCom motor, where you can, like, put a bracket on it. It would be perfect if it did, because I happen to have another one, but there's nowhere to mount the brackets, so... we'll see. Let me put it together first. Alright, now for this, I'm stepping on the tape. For this capacitor, could just... There's barely any length on these wires, too. I understand why I taped it now. It's not the best solution, though. Yeah, I could just prop it up like that on the bolt for testing, of course. If this was a long-term thing, I probably would just wrap it to the down rod with some electrical tape. But this is not long-term, so I think it's fine. And I did put the bolt in, unlike the first time. Let's get the canopies on. Oh, that is causing the canopy to go lean. Didn't consider that. Nope, it fell. Okay, I'm gonna have to go inside and grab some tape, or maybe a zip tie. Actually, there you go. There's my solution. I'm surprised this camera is still on 2 bars. Perhaps I was too harsh on it. Okay, this canopy is not in good shape. The thread that holds it on is all gone. I'm going to just replace it. Hang on a second. What's going on here? What? I have never seen anything like that. Is the rotor not lined up on this thing? We have a serious problem going on here because however these are lined up, there's no threads. So I can't put on the blades. I've never seen anything like that. Alright, I think that means I have to take this whole thing apart and then line that up properly. Alright. Let's take a look here at the bottom. The same thing goes on down there. It actually looks like, yeah, they're not lined up. Either that or I destroyed the threads doing something. No, these aren't threaded, so... Okay. Oh, by the way, I'd like to point out this is identical in every single way to the IndusCom motor. It's the same thing. This one's just older. Alright, sorry about that. Camera issues. Okay. Now time to do what I do not do best. Take apart motors. I think this top cover is okay. It's really the bottom one. Alright, I'll flip it over then. Wouldn't be too hard, right? I just have to twist this around. Look at that, it's just lifting up already. You can tell that this is not correct. There you go. That's the, oh no. That doesn't use normal screws, that uses like the tiny screws. Come on. I'll have to look, see if I have those. At least I fixed it. Yeah, it uses screws like these. I don't know if I have those. That's not good. If I can't attach the blades, we can't do a test. So I'm going to see if maybe I take one of these scrap motors. Do these have the right size screws? Right, here's our KDK with the fixed blade screw holes, whatever you call them. I didn't realize that those weren't lined up. It sat like that for months. No one pointed it out in the video. It probably wasn't clear in the video, but I missed it. Let's make it a slightly unusual noise. It's the thing with these motors. After just tightening it. That is making like a weird noise when I spin it. I guess once it's installed, we'll see what it does. Let's get the blades on and test this thing. Finally finish this project. I didn't think it would be this big. I thought I would just, install the fan, but I should really check this stuff before recording. Those are not the correct screws, but you know what? It's fine. These are self-tapping screws, but they're the only things that fit this at the moment. And they seem to actually make a very good grip to the motor. And there is a date tag that of November 2011. That's not really the date. This is from probably the 90s, 80s, 2000s, the latest. Because this fan had a different cover, but I replaced it because it was all dirty and messed up. So I replaced it with this cover, which still has the date sticker on it. Alright, time for the hanging. Alright, here it is. I'm kind of afraid because of how that motor was behaving, so I'm gonna stand back, power this thing on, and we'll see what it does. Well, it does nothing. What? Well, that's not good. I think the problem is inside the motor. Maybe when I was replacing the bearings back then, I screwed up the windings or something. Either that or it could simply be a loose connection. I don't know. I really don't know why it's not spinning, and I've been at this for a long time. So I'm going to take this down, take it apart, and I'll just stop once I do that, and then we'll do the conclusion. It's a shame that this one doesn't do anything, though. Listen to that. Probably can't hear it, but it's making a weird noise. And it does nothing when I power it on. We're not even getting any, we're not getting any sparking between the speeds, which usually happens, so it could be a continuity issue. I heavily doubt it. It's probably something in here. Alright, well, I'm just going to take this down and do the conclusion. And we'll talk about what the future plan might be for that. Okay, well, this is PowerX24. I'm concluding this video by saying, well, let's just kind of look at what we've done. So I was able to swap the motor and test one of the KDKs. That one is performing as expected. So all that's left for that one is get its own set of blades, clean it up, make sure it's looking good, and then that one is ready to be used. The second one, you saw, I found out that one was put together incorrectly. I tried fixing it. I was able to get the blades on, but when I turned it on, it didn't do anything. So for that one, I'm not 100% sure what era it's from, but it's newer than the other one. I think it's probably somewhere between the 80s and the 2000s. So that one is newer. And the IndusCom motors are identical to that motor. So I think what I'll have to do is get another IndusCom motor and use it in that fan to replace the original motor, because I don't know why it's not turning. If you guys want me to investigate that motor, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and get a video of it. If you have any idea as to why that motor isn't working, please tell me, because I've had that happen to 2 fans so far, and I don't know what causes it. All I know is that the motor is shot and I have to replace it. So, yeah. And there's the mess down there. That's where I keep pulling those fans from. Anyways, this was PowerX24. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.